Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome to another episode where I review vintage beautiful fountain pens from my collection. This time, I have for you a pen made in England, a wonderful, beautiful fountain pen. We are talking about this little beauty, a Burnham number 60, as you can see, London, England. It is finished in this beautiful green marbled celluloid, and I think it is from the late 1940s and the beginning of the 1950s. You can see it's a lever filler, and it is simply wonderful. Let's talk about the history of this lesser known English manufacturer. So, the Burnham Fountain Pen Company was founded in the early 1920s by Harry Burnham. The company had its office at Selhurst Road in South Norwood, London. This English manufacturer, like other manufacturer Conway Stewart, tried to produce pens which offered value for money. And they produced some well made, inexpensive fountain pens. Throughout its history, it competed with Conway Stewart, although the target market for this fountain pen was never the high end luxury market of fountain pens. It competed in the low entry level fountain pens, but for its price, it was a very well made fountain pen. Unfortunately, the Burnham company was affected by the ballpoint revolution or ripple effect in the fountain pen manufacturers community, and it ceased its activity in the 1960s, in the mid 1960s. So, if you think about it, this fountain pen was made in the 1950s, so it is like a swan song, a farewell song, but a quite well made fountain pen. And let's check it out. Apart from the gorgeous material, we will start with the cap. It is decorated with three rings, two narrower and one wider in the middle. I have. So let's check it out, guys. It is a wonderful pen. We have this art deco looking clip. It is imprinted with Burnham. At the end of the cap, we have this rounded rings, quite nice looking. Some of the models I've seen on the internet have a B from Burnham, but this has those circles. Of course, the cap unscrews and it reveals a nice looking grip section with slightly concave to hold it in your hand, and a wonderful nib. I like this nib a lot. It is written Burnham 14 carats gold, and here I believe I can show you. Let me zoom on it if I can. So we have osmiridium. Quite a nice thing. I think osmiridium refers to the top of the nib. Some of the nibs had an iridium point. but this is a combination between osmium and iridium. You must know that the osmium is a quite precious metal, more expensive than the gold and very resistant. So maybe this is a combination between iridium and osmium. It certainly stood the test of time. The back we have a simple looking ebonite feed. Look at this wonderful material. It simply shines. Unfortunately, being a lever filler, you can see that when I try to operate the lever filler, it is obstructed, and this means that the inner sac needs to be replaced, because in time with the action of the acidity of the ink, the sac it is affected and it needs to be replaced. You can see that the end of the barrel, we have a black colored ending, a domed ending. Quite a nice, beautiful fountain pen. I will leave its dimensions on the screen, and after that we will do the writing sample. And I'm sorry guys, because the level filler isn't functional, I will just dip it in ink. So for the writing sample, I thought to myself that a classic Pelikan 4001 Königsblau or Royal Blue will do the trick. I will simply open it, I will put it here, and for you guys to enjoy the writing sample, I will change the angle of the camera. So I'm sorry. Okay. Yes. Okay. So guys, you can see that it posts quite well. Posted, it has a considerable dimension, but I prefer that I don't post my fountain pens. Let's take this Pelikan bottle. Okay, let me take a tissue because I will need one. Okay, here is my tissue. So I will simply dip it in this ink, and after that I will clean it. I will leave the ink on the nib and on the feed. Okay. Remember guys, always to close up the ink bottle after you use it to avoid accidents. So, I present to you a beautiful Burnham number 60, made in England, London, in the 1950s. Okay. This pen has a wonderful 14 karat 585 gold nib with a osmio iridium point. Quite a nice gold nib. Let me zoom. Okay, I'm so sorry guys. So I will zoom for you to see. So you can see not lots of flexiness to it, so no flex. Let me do the pressure test. No visible line variation, no line variation. And let me see how juicy it is. Not such a juicy nib, but it is a smooth nib, no annoying feedback. Let me test how it performs on signatures. Quite well. And let me do the famous The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So you can see we have a quite nice writer, but most of all we have a wonderful looking fountain pen, and it shows what the fountain pen industry was like in England in the 1950s. This was an affordable fountain pen. Think about the expensive fountain pens out there. So if we have this qualitative product, I believe that the fountain pen industry before the ballpoint crisis in England was quite well established. So, guys, this was my review of a wonderful fountain pen. It is quite an affordable fountain pen. I didn't tell you what I paid for it, so I paid only 50 euros or approximately 60 American dollars. So, quite an affordable price. If you find this brand Burnham, just buy it because they are quite well done fountain pens, and because the producer is not such well known, you can score it at decent prices. So a wonderful fountain pen from the 1950s, my favorite period in the fountain pen industry, before the crisis with the ballpoint pen. um, it shows that you can buy a vintage fountain pen, a real great vintage fountain pen, at a real decent price. Unfortunately, this isn't restored, but I will restore it. I will change its sack. I won't do it myself because I don't have the knowledge to do that. But in the future, it will be restored to its former glory. It is in wonderful shape. It shows that it stood the test of time. The quality of the workmanship involved in producing such a wonderful fountain pen. I am sorry that a producer like Burnham is not longer with us. Maybe some investors would revive this brand. It surely has a well established history in the world of fountain pens made in England. So, guys, this was my review. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed this review, please subscribe to my channel to support my activity. I thank you for your time, and wherever you are, I wish you to have a nice day. Thank you for your time. I will see you again at the next episode. Till then, bye bye.